Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Hold no punches!
I'm real revolutionary right now. Black power.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, this difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig? Today is Wednesday, April 10th, 2024. Coming up on Roland Martin Unfiltered, streaming live for the Black Star Network. I'm here in Augusta, Georgia, courtesy of McDonald's attending the Masters. I'm going to give a little shout out to the Morehouse men's golf team as well as the Eastside Golf Boys. I'll have that for you on today's show. Also, Chicago police fired 96 shots in 41 seconds, killing a young black man during a traffic stop. We'll show you some of the body cam footage and talk to the family's attorney. In Florida, Florida Sheriff's deputy get disciplined for strip searching a black man in broad daylight. We'll talk to the reporter who broke this story. In the Mississippi Goon Squad, it tortured two black men. They will never know what freedom feels like again. We'll tell you about those sentences right here on the show. Also, we'll be joined by Pro Football Hall of Famer Bruce Smith, who wants to emphasize the importance of black ownership in a casino project in Virginia, his home state. Folks, that and more. It is time to bring the funk on Roland Martin Unfiltered of the Black Star Network. Let's go.
He's got it. Whatever the biz, he's on it. Whatever it is, he's got the scoop, the fact, the find. And when it breaks, he's right on time and it's rolling. Best believe he's knowing. Putting it down from sports to news to politics. With entertainment just for kicks, he's rolling. It's on go, roll, roll, y'all. It's Roland Martin, yeah. Rolling with Roland now. He's funk, he's fresh, he's real, the best, you know he's Roland Martin now.
Here we go again. Another simple traffic stop results in the death of a black man. This time, a seatbelt violation in Chicago leads to 96 shots being fired in 41 seconds. This took place on March 21st when tactical officers with the Chicago Police Department stopped 26-year-old Dexter Reed before gunfire erupted on both sides. The released body cam video sparks questions rather than providing answers. How could the plainclothes officers see Dexter was not wearing a seatbelt when his windows were tinted? And how was Dexter supposed to know who these plainclothes officers were when they didn't announce themselves while they surrounded his car with guns drawn? Now, what you're about to see is very triggering, so we want to give you a heads up to turn away if you do not want to see this video. So we're going to give you that time. All right. So this is a 2-minute and 45-second video, folks. Watch what happened.
Do not roll the window up.
Do not fucking roll it up.
Unlock the doors
Open
now.
the fucking door.
Unlock the doors now.
Open the fucking door.
Unlock the door now. Open the door now. Open the door now. Open the door now.
I got you.
It's over there for near neighbors. We have an officer down.
Dude, don't fucking move.
Unit, step it up. We got ambulance system route.
Don't move.
We're all good.
All right, back for you.
Andrew Stroh, the civil rights attorney. He is representing the family here. Andrew, glad to have you on the show. Okay. So, Andrew, and I'm just going to give an example.
Yes.
I remember when I lived in Chicago, and I pulled over. This car was at a green light, wasn't moving. I pulled over, and I took off. Car behind me starts chasing me, and I don't know who the hell it is, so I keep going. I don't know who the hell it is. So then we go another block. Then the car pulls up beside of me, and he's yelling, "Get over, get over, get over." So then he gets out of the car, and then comes up to my car, windows up. Then he shows his badge. And then he goes, "Why the hell you didn't pull over?" I said, "I didn't know who the hell you were."
Yes.
You were in an unmarked car. Okay, I can't tell who you are. Why in the hell am I going to pull over because some dude is telling me to pull over? When I see this here, what I saw when that body cam started, at no point did I hear anyone yell, "Roll your window down, Chicago police. This is an order." Now, have you seen anything where these officers identified themselves to this young man?
Roland, not only did they not identify themselves as Chicago police, they rolled up on him, cut him off, unmarked police car, plain-clothes officers wearing hoodies and baseball caps. Dexter Reed had no idea, from what I've seen on the video, that they were police officers. So what we see is an unconstitutional, unreasonable, pretextual, racist stop on the west side of Chicago. And as you know, Roland, they've got these tactical units that do unconstitutional policing with decades of history regarding abuse in black communities. So to me, what started
wait. Now I'm so you're telling me that he's driving down the street. All of a sudden, cars pull out in front of him. They block him in.
Yes.
Plainclothes folks jump out over a seatbelt.
But we don't even know if it was a seatbelt because you can't see in those tinted windows. They had no reason to stop him. It was a pretextual, racist stop by tactical officers working. And here's the thing, Roland, that's so disturbing. As you know, there's a federal consent decree pending against the city of Chicago. And part of the historical evidence shows these tactical units are terrorizing citizens on the west and south sides. And so it's tragic. And then in the middle, dozens of rounds fired. And then at the end, you see an execution-style military shooting of Dexter Reed as he lay dying on the ground next to his car. It's tragic on multiple levels. How many black and brown men?
Wait. Are you telling me that, because I cut the video off, are you telling me that while he is laying on the ground, a shot was fired into his body while he was laying on the ground?
3 more shots. He came out of the car unarmed. You can see him unarmed. They shoot him again. And then when he's laying next to the car, the one shooting officer pumps 3 more bullets into him while he's laying unarmed by the car. And we've asked the state's attorney to consider criminal charges against the officers. We've asked Mayor Johnson to disband these tactical units that terrorize black folks on the west and south sides. You know, there's so many issues, Roland, with this case. Now, they're going to say he had a gun. There was a weapon recovered in his car. But let's talk. This all started with an unconstitutional pretextual stop over, they say, a seatbelt violation, which they couldn't even have seen because he had tinted windows.
It is stunning to actually watch that. And again, we've done these stories so many times, and another black man dead because of a traffic stop, in this case, supposedly a seatbelt, before it's been an air freshener hanging down, before it's been a tail light, before it's been a license plate. It's always something small, all of a sudden escalates. And also, last question. How many officers were involved here? I mean, you need that many officers?
Well, Roland, great question. Listen, check this out.
Seatbelt not being worn?
5 officers in an SUV, 4 men and 1 woman. One of them's wearing a hoodie. The other one are wearing baseball caps. They jump out. They're called the jump out boys. They jumped out, surrounded the unit, full guns pointed into the car, and it just erupted into gunfire, and it ended in an execution. And the city of Chicago and Mayor Brandon Johnson has got to commit to the consent decree and reform. How many black men need to die before we'll change the behavior of certain members of the Chicago Police Department, especially these tactical units?
96 shots in 41 seconds. Andrew, keep us abreast of what happens in this case.
Appreciate you, Roland. Thanks for having me on.
Folks, I'm going to go to a break. We come back. I'm going to talk about this with my panel right here on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Back in a moment.
I'm Faraji Muhammad, live from LA. And this is The Culture. The Culture is a two-way conversation. You and me. We talk about the stories, politics, the good, the bad, and the downright ugly. So join our community every day at 3 p.m. Eastern and let your voice be heard. Hey, we're all in this together. So let's talk about it and see what kind of trouble we can get into. It's The Culture, weekdays at 3, only on the Black Star Network.
Fanbase is pioneering a new era of social media for the creator economy. This next generation social media app with over 600,000 users is raising $17 million, and now is your chance to invest. For details on how to invest, visit startengine.com/fanbase or scan the QR code. Another way we're giving you the freedom to be you without limits.
And you know what you're watching, Roland Martin Unfiltered.
All right, folks, welcome back to Roland Martin Unfiltered here on the Black Star Network. Let me introduce my panel, Robert Portillo. He is host, People, Passion, Politics, News and Talk 1380 WAOK out of Atlanta. Scott Bolden. He is, of course, lawyer in D.C., former chair of the National Bar Association in D.C. Chamber, PAC, Chamber of Commerce PAC. Scott, listen. I understand the role of officers. I understand when it comes to combating crime. But it takes all of that for a seatbelt violation?
Really? No, it doesn't take all of that. But, you know, I love breaking these videos down. If you look at the stuff, first of all, tactical units.
So hold on. So we're going to do this here. We're going to do this here. Make this point right here. And we have the video from several angles. And so what we're going to do is we're going to play these videos, and then we're going to go through that, and we can sort of describe. So make your initial comment. Then I'm going to have them replay the first video. And then guys get the other videos ready so we can actually break it down.
First, tactical units aren't hired and aren't on duty to make traffic stops. That's the first thing. Even if they saw him coming from the front window of his car and said he didn't have his seatbelt on, that's not what tactical units do. And if it's a traffic stop, you don't go up to the car with your guns drawn saying, put your windows down. So that's blown away, regardless of what they investigate. Secondly, 91 shots in 41 seconds, there are officers shooting from 100 to 200 feet away, right? Which means that's dangerous for people around them. That's dangerous for the officers. And the victim gets out of the car unarmed with his hands up. And when he gets to the back of the car, they're still shooting. And those bullets, after he's got his hands up and he's outside the vehicle, that's when he gets shot. And you can see he gets gunned down by 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different shots, including it looks like the officers from a distance who's behind the car just firing. and reloading and firing. That makes absolutely no sense. There's a lot more going on here as to why they stopped him, but more importantly, just irresponsibility in regard to just unloading your firearm on a traffic stop like this, simply because he's got a gun. Makes no sense.
Folks, go.
And he didn't have a gun when he got shot.
Folks, go ahead and play. Right, and the other deal is you can actually carry a gun, and people carry guns for protection. Roll a video.
No question about that. They didn't even ask him did he have a weapon, by the way.
And there you go. Audio turned up. Audio turned up.
Unlock the doors now.
Open the fucking door.
Unlock the doors now.
Open the fucking door.
Unlock the door now. Open the door now. Open the door now. Open the door now.
I got you.
Units over there for near neighbors. We have an officer down.
Dude, don't fucking move.
Unit, step it up. We got ambulances en route.
He's dead. He's not going to move. We're all good. You think?
Do we have any information on the offender?
Hey, you got us?
Watch us.
Anything with the kid over there for him?
Do not fucking move. I don't know where the gun is. I don't know where the gun is.
He started shooting at us.
Hey, dude. Let go of the gun. Let go of the gun.
All right, we have
Let go of the gun. I got the gun.
Okay, we got tourniquet at 5. Yes, we have an officer shot in the car. Tourniquet applied at 18:04 hours. Do we have any information on the offender?
99, I'll be around. Let's get it.
I don't know where it is. What's on it? What's on it?
Check on the.
Alright, do we have any offender information? Give us 1 second. Do we have any information on him?
Hey, we got a casing right here. Heads up. Watch your feet. Watch your feet.
If anybody there is getting in, give us any information. Yes. Yes. We are aware. We have an ambulance request there.
All right, folks, now cue up the next video so we can look at it from that particular angle. And go ahead and press play.
11:32.
Do not roll the window up.
Both hands up.
Unlock the doors now.
Open the fucking door.
Unlock the doors now.
Hey, watch.
Unlock the doors now. Open the
You see
door
both his
now.
hands?
Open the door now. Open the door
Fucking hey! It's St. Louis gun! Shots fired.
All right, so there's another angle. Let's play that one.
Hey, put your window down, man.
Roll the window down. What are you doing?
Hey, roll this one down, too.
Do not roll the window up.
Do not fucking roll it up. Open the fucking door.
Unlock the door now.
Open the fucking
Hey,
door.
unlock it.
Unlock the door now. Open the
You see
door
both his
now.
hands?
Open the door now.
Hey!
The door now.
All right, so we got 3 more videos. press play of the next one.
11:32.
Unlock the doors now. Unlock the doors.
Unit 11:31. I got a person with a gun in 3592 West Broadway.
Open the door now. Open the door now.
Fire! Shot fire!
All right, next video.
Why did they approach him with his guns drawn? This was a tactical stop. This was not a traffic stop.
All right. Okay. Here's the last video. Here's the last video. Press play. All right. So we've seen that video there. All right. So Robert, we played 6 different videos. At no point in a single video do I hear cops say police. Now, in the 5th video we played, you see somebody with a vest on. It says police on the back. I'm assuming it says on the front. But when they come up to the vehicle, nobody identifies themselves. And I don't see a badge dangling from their neck. I don't see anything. How in the hell am I supposed to know who you are?
That's one of many questions I think all of us have. This is a outrage for that community and for any community. And when we hear all this hyperbole around why are we still marching and protesting and demanding accountability and even demanding from the Biden administration federal legislation on police brutality, this is why. There are so many points where the police could have de-escalated this situation from the beginning by identifying themselves, by finding ways to talk these things down. And I'm not even quite sure who fired the first shot in this situation, but in no set of circumstances should 91 shots be needed for this type of interaction. Not to mention you're in a populated area. Think about the collateral damage that could have happened. These cops are firing from 100, 200 feet away at
That's right.
individual.
Right.
So it is a absolute atrocity that has taken place in this situation, and I'm hoping that as evidence comes out, we find out exactly what motivated these cops to respond in this manner.
Scott, I think back to the shooting of the black couple in Cleveland when the cop jumped on top of the car and was firing shots down. Plus shots had been fired as well. And you just, and granted, that was after a car chase. This is, I get unmarked vehicles, but I'm sorry. I don't care if you're in Chicago where people got carjackings, things like that. I'm gonna even when they got out of the car, and to your point, Scott, guns were already drawn. He had his window all the way down. I'm sitting here waiting for somebody to say, "We are Chicago police." So they're talking. He's like, "I don't know. I'm raising my window up. Who the hell are y'all?"
Yeah, and the other question that's going to be raised in the investigation is, there were unmarked cars, but one of those cars in all of your videos had lights flashing, but they were on the back. I don't know whether they were on the front or not. That's one thing. Some of the undercover had police on the back of their jackets, but not necessarily on the front. You didn't see the badges dangling, as you said, like you have in New York. But this was a tactical stop. This was not a traffic stop. It just wasn't. It doesn't take 5 people to do this. They had their guns drawn. They were looking for something, whether it was drugs, gun, he was a suspect. They approached that car to get him out of that car, which means decisions were made before they stopped that car, right? This isn't him just driving and they do a traffic stop. So that's part of the investigation. They don't appear to find drugs, but they found a gun in the car. But it reminds me of Laquan McDonald. whatever the case may be, if there's a gun on the scene, or even if he has a gun like Laquanda did, from Wisconsin, not Laquan, it was Philander somebody, right?
Philando Castile.
It was Philando Castile.
That's right. When the training of these police, if there is a gun or they believe shots are fired, it appears to be trained to just empty their weapon, whether there's a threat or not. The reason the 200 feet away with that one angle with the cop firing, right? He's firing 200 feet away, and he's emptying his 9mm. He doesn't even see. The victim walks into the line of fire. He's just firing at the car. Boom, boom, pop, 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 pop. He's just firing at the car. There's no way he's going to hit the victim who's in the car. He could hit other police officers. He could hit community people. His police officers could walk in the line of that fire. That's completely irresponsible and ridiculous. Because if you see on the video, the victim walks into the line of fire. He's walking to the back of the car with his hands up, and he walks into that gunfire. That's what that video shows. And if he walked into that gunfire, he didn't have a weapon on him. He left the weapon in the car. And then lastly, when they approached the car, right, look how they escalated. Don't roll your windows down. Roll them up. Don't roll them up. Don't roll them up. Don't roll them up. They've got guns drawn. And as he rolls his window up, the voice inflection of the police officer, they begin to yell. They begin to yell. They all begin to yell, and they're holding their guns because I get it that they don't know what they're dealing with, right? But they have a sense of what they're dealing with, but he hasn't shown a weapon yet. And then they had this conversation, but they're yelling, and then shots are fired. Who knows who fired the shot? If the young man fired the shot, even if he did, right, then they're free to fire, but not recklessly fire, right? If they fire into the car, they've got to see whether they hit something or not. Remember, they don't know who else is in the car, too. There could be a passenger. There could be kids in the back. This is irresponsible at several levels. I could do a lot more analysis, but that's my immediate response to this. This is crazy.
Robert, final comment.
One of the fundamentals of gun ownership and gun training is never fire or even point your weapon unless you not only know exactly what you're aiming at, but what is beyond it. And in this situation, they are firing blindly into a vehicle. And as Scott said, there could have been children in the back seat, could have been explosives in the back seat for all they know. And they are firing blindly into it. How is that going to be self-defense or defense of an officer? How exactly do you explain the need for 91 shots? When I think at some point in time, they thought the other officers firing was the victim firing back at them. And so they start firing at each other ostensibly, because that's how, did you see how jittery they were, how scared they were? This is not a job for people who are jittery or scared, and that showed in their reaction. And I'm hoping we'll get more information on this, but our prayers to the family and, of course, the victim in this case.
Yeah.
Absolutely insane. All right, folks, we'll keep you apprised of this story. We'll be right back on Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
Hatred on the streets, a horrific scene, a white nationalist rally that descended into deadly violence.
White people are losing their damn minds.
As an angry pro-Trump mob storms the U.S. Capitol, we've seen
We're about to see the rise of what I call white minority resistance. We have seen white folks in this country who simply cannot tolerate black folks voting.
I think what we're seeing is the inevitable result of violent denial.
This is part of American history. Every time that people of color have made progress, whether real or symbolic, there has been what Carol Anderson at Emory University calls white rage as a backlash.
This is the rise of the Proud Boys and the Boogaloo Boys. America, there's going to be more of this.
Here's all the Proud Boys, Dave.
This country is getting increasingly racist in its behaviors and its attitudes because of the fear of white people.
The fear that they're taking our jobs, they're taking our resources, they're taking our women. This is white fear.
Fanbase is pioneering a new era of social media for the creator economy. This next-generation social media app with over 600,000 users is raising $17 million, and now is your chance to invest. For details on how to invest, visit startengine.com/fanbase or scan the QR code. Another way we're giving you the freedom to be you without limits.
Hey, it's John Murray, the executive producer of the new Sherry Shepherd Talk Show. And you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
2022, a black man was strip searched in broad daylight in Jacksonville. Well, the results of that is that the sheriff's office has said that those officers were wrong and violated a policy. Ronnie Reed was stripped in the middle of a street in front of his family members. The officers did not find anything, but he was arrested for selling cocaine. The state's attorney's office dropped the charges against Reed in February, but only after spending more than a year pressing him to accept a plea agreement that would have sent him to prison for at least 4 years. Nicole Manna of the Tributary, the investigative reporter who broke the case, joins me now from Jacksonville. Glad to have you on the show, Nicole.
Hi.
So now the sheriff's department goes, yeah, they really didn't follow the rules in how he was pulled over and strip searched.
Right. So the sheriff's office actually opened their investigation into this arrest after our reporting on what had happened, our reporting that questioned if they broke policy, if they broke state law. That investigation was opened in March of last year, and it was closed in September. We only learned about it by filing another records request asking for that investigation. They had never notified us that it was closed, despite the fact that our reporting is why it was opened.
So now I'm confused. Okay, so the arrest takes place in February. They opened the investigation after the fact. What was he initially stopped for?
So the arrest actually took place in September of 2022. We didn't publish our first story until March of 23. So that is when the investigation was open. What happened in that arrest is the police were doing a kind of drug operation. An undercover officer gave $20 to a different man, and that man was seen walking toward Ronnie Reed. That man went back to the officer, gave him whatever amount of cocaine, and then those officers approached Ronnie and searched him down, patted him down, didn't find any drugs, didn't even find the $20 that police had given the original man, and then that is when the strip search occurred.
Wow. So they never actually saw Reed give this guy drugs, so therefore they assumed he was the drug dealer.
Right. That's how it seems. The original arrest report on Ronnie isn't exactly clear of what happened other than this other man walked toward him. In the investigative file from the internal investigation, we saw an extra line that says an officer witnessed a drug exchange. But again, there were no drugs found on Ronnie, either at the time of the arrest or at the jail. The $20 that was given to the other man in exchange for cocaine was found in his hand when he was arrested. That money was never found on Ronnie Reed either. And his defense attorney told me that she brought that to the state attorney's office and said, "I've never seen a drug dealer give on credit."
Wow. Again, another one of those crazy stories of what cops say one thing and something else, actually happens. But what was nuts here, they were trying to get this man to plead guilty.
Right. They spent more than a year trying to persuade him to plead guilty and take a 4-year prison sentence. But he kept fighting. He went through multiple defense attorneys, and ultimately the case was dropped in November. I believe it was November 14th or 5th, or I'm sorry, February. I believe it was February 14th or 15th. And that is when the state attorney said that they did not have enough evidence to bring him to court and prosecute him.
Questions from the panel. Robert, you first.
So with this, will there be any sort of apology, restitution, anything paid to this man for what he's had to go through in this situation? Because I've had similar cases to this. This is not an isolated incident. What systemic changes is the police department going to make to stop this from happening in the future?
So one of the interesting things that came out in the internal investigation is that the officers who stripped Ronnie said that they were actually never trained on what the search policy is, and they didn't even know that what they did constituted a strip search. So of course we asked JSO, knowing this information, have you done additional training in the department? We never got an answer back on that. JSO told one of the local TV stations here that they do offer and do require training on searches. But again, we don't know if there's anything that they're doing beyond what training they say they already have. And I do know Ronnie is talking with a civil attorney.
Scott?
Yeah, Scott Bolden here. He needs to talk to a civil attorney about this. You know, the idea that the police believe that they could strip search someone in public because they didn't have proper training. I had good home training. I had good upbringing. Taking somebody's pants down or making them strip in public just seems to be just at your core. We shouldn't do that. We should take him to the station, or we should put him in the police van or something. Your core should tell you that, whether you're a police officer or not. But here's another question, similar to Robert's, right? What about training, and what about reformation of the prosecutor's office? I'm a former prosecutor from New York City. Either you got the evidence or you don't. Theoretically, philosophically rather, ethically, under most state bar rules and the APA, if you can't prove the case beyond a reasonable doubt, if you can't prove the case or you don't bring the case, then you don't sit there for a year and try to get them to plead or something, because that means they're not trying to do justice. They're trying to get a conviction, right? Any discussions with any groups or that state's attorney's office about that reformation piece or that ethical piece? Because Ronnie ought to bring ethical charges against the assistant state's attorney for how they've handled this case. Because if they were going to dismiss it anyway, what were the internal memorandums about whether they could prove the case or not? And was there a memo that said, oh, just get him to take a plea, as opposed to dismissing him and doing justice? Roland, that's the difference between doing justice and just going after a conviction. Go right ahead, man.
I think that is something that he's exploring with his civil attorney. We actually haven't heard too much from the state attorney's office on that, on why they decided to continue to pursue these charges. When we first wrote the story, the answer was essentially a crime was committed and we are moving forward with this case. Yeah. We haven't heard much of an apology or any other details of why this was dropped or what the internal communication looked like. But that is information that we are looking to get, hopefully, through future records.
I'd make that part of your investigative reporting, because that gets lost sometimes. But that's a huge issue, because the police are one problem, but the prosecutors drive the investigation, drive the prosecution. And they've got to be ethically based. And if they violate their ethics, they ought to be brought to accountability.
Yeah, there are definitely two parts of the story, just like you said, JSO and the state attorney's office. Yeah, we're going to continue reporting on this and seeing what we could find out.
And Roland, one of the first cases I did with Henry Daniels back in the day was a case similar to this, where a man had half an aspirin on the stove, and they tried to charge him with possession of crack cocaine with intent to distribute. And it took us over a year to get that case dismissed against him, once they finally got lab results to show there was half an aspirin. So this is not an isolated incident. Just thank God we have journalists who can actually deal with issues like this.
Yep.
Absolutely crazy. Nicole, great job reporting. Keep it up.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
When we come back, we'll talk the Goon Squad getting sentenced for their attack on 2 black men in Mississippi. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Support us in what we do. Join our Brain of Funk fan club. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing on average $50 each a year. That's $4.19 a month, 13 cents a day. Send your check and money order to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C. 20037-0196. Cash App, $RM Unfiltered, PayPal, R Martin Unfiltered, Venmo's RM Unfiltered, Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com, Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. We'll be right back.
Janet actually called me, and she said, "Do you remember us having an argument in the studio, whatever, whatever?" And I said, "No, not really, because we never argued in the studio." And she said, "Well, there's this piece we found, and can you come over and watch it with me?" And I said, "Sure." And I went over and watched it, and I loved it. I just started laughing. I said, "This is great. This is great, Janet." And she said, "Okay, so you're okay with this?" I said, "Yeah, I'm fine with it." Because literally, we worked together for, I mean, I don't know how many days we've been in the studio together. And literally, we had maybe one argument like that. Right. And it was captured. But of course, that's the thing that, you know, absolutely, people want to see. But yeah, that kind of thing happens. Some days that's with, you know, your voice isn't good today. Let's just go see a movie, or let's go just chill. Or, you know, some days it's tough love, like you got to do that again.
Fanbase is pioneering a new era of social media for the creator economy. This next generation social media app with over 600,000 users is raising $17 million, and now is your chance to invest. For details on how to invest, visit startengine.com/fanbase or scan the QR code. Another way we're giving you the freedom to be you without limits.
Farquhar, executive producer of Proud Family. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Folks, we've talked about the Goon Squad in Mississippi, 6 white cops who brutalized 2 black men. Well, they pled guilty to federal charges. Now they have learned their fate in state charges. The 5 former Rankin County deputies and a former Richland police officer pled guilty to state charges in August for their involvement in a racist assault against Michael Corey Jenkins and Eddie Terrell Parker. The disgraced law enforcement officers have already been sentenced between 10 to 40 years in federal prison. Rankin County Circuit Judge Steve Ratcliffe sentenced Brett McAlpin, Jeffrey Middleton, and Daniel Opdyke to 15 years for a hindering prosecution and 5 years for conspiracy to commit hindering prosecution. Joshua Hartfield got 10 years for hindering prosecution and 5 years for conspiracy to hinder prosecution. Christopher Detman got 20 years in prison for burglary and 5 years for conspiracy. Hunter L. Ward got 20 years for aggravated assault, 20 years for burglary, and 5 years for conspiracy to commit hindering prosecution. The state sentences will run concurrently with federal sentences. They must permanently surrender their law enforcement certificates. I mean, you see right here these 6 thugs and what they did. And the bottom line is, let's not even believe for a second this was an isolated incident, Robert.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say, Roland. You know, for every one case like this that comes to light, we had this with the Red Dogs in Atlanta years ago. So many law enforcement agencies around the country have squads of this nature, have groups of this nature, and often in the name of public safety, in the name of combating crime, because you know communities, when crime goes up, they get very lax on human rights. All of a sudden, they are able to put these units out there, but we've seen over and over again the excesses that happen when you give officers this type of power and this lack of accountability. I'm glad that these officers have been brought to justice, but we have to work on making the wholesale changes to law enforcement and criminal justice reform in this country. This is why it's important for us to still push for, even in this election year, that George Floyd Justice and Policing Act.
What you see here were just simply 6 thugs, 6 gang members with badges and guns, Scott.
Yeah, and there are goon squads like this still in existence. The police department and police chiefs, who should resign in this case but hasn't, tolerate it as this kind of mantra that to catch thugs or to stop crime in the roughest parts of the neighborhood, you need a rough unit. Well, no, you don't. You just need a unit that's going to do good police work and do it by the book. But this whole idea that you don't want to know how we solve crimes in tough communities because it's the price you pay for democracy or your constitution or for a safer community. It's all bullshit, basically. There's nothing good about what these people did. They've done it before, and senior management and police departments know they exist. They tolerate it with a blink or a nod until something like this happens. And 9 times out of 10, it happens to poor black people, the least, the lost, and the left out. And then they're prosecuted or they're fired from the police force, but the damage has been done already. It's just pathetic.
Yeah, and so certainly glad to see these thugs brought to justice. Speaking of bringing a thug to justice, Donald Trump's trial begins on Monday. This fool, y'all, this fool tried to sue the judge. I mean, he will delay and delay and delay. I mean, Scott, this is one of those where the judge has got to say, man, sit your ass down and stop this nonsense. They struck that down. I mean, this idiot. And also, today, Alan Weisselberg, who was his numbers guy, got sentenced today to five months into jail for committing perjury, lying about that. So, I mean, you got to be stupid to say, yeah, I'm willing to go to jail for Donald Trump.
Well, Weisselberg benefited a lot from that inappropriate relationship, but he got another 5 months. He must like jail. He must like it, boy. But he done met somebody in jail because he keep going back for Donald Trump. But the judge in this case, made a very quick ruling and basically says, sit your ass down. Your day is coming. Your day in court is coming, and it's coming fast. Your first criminal trial, the first time you've ever faced the criminal justice system, not the civil justice system. And I'm going to tell you, it's going to be tough on Donald Trump. I keep telling everybody that. Those cameras are going to be in the courtroom. You're going to see that this is his day of reckoning because he's going to get convicted of some of those counts, if not all of them, because it's a paper case. It's an easy case to try. It's about fraud. It's not about hush money. The lawyer for Donald Trump, they've got key witnesses, but they also have corroboration, written corroboration that regardless of what his lawyer pled to and went to jail for, it doesn't matter. They can corroborate what he's saying. And so his day of reckoning is coming. The press and politics and political folks make out like this is the least important case. 31 felonies is the most important case, and that judge will sentence him to jail. And whenever that happens, right, they're going to have a hard time getting him out or of serving that jail time. They could keep him out while the appeals work. But at some point in time, your day of reckoning is going to be upon Donald Trump. It's hard to imagine him winning the race convicted with 30 or less or more felonies. It really is, because he won't be campaigning. And a lot of that money he's raising right now has got to go towards legal fees. So the Republican Party is in a hot mess because Donald Trump is leading the Republican Party right now. Very unfortunate
and
for the Republicans
Robert,
who are not MAGA supporters.
Robert, this man has attacked the judge's daughter. I guess he thinks that stuff flied. No, player. So they slapped him with a gag order. And then, am I the only one who found it strange that Michael Avenatti was on MSNBC last night talking from federal prison, saying Trump can't get a fair hearing? I know. Your ass sitting in jail for 17 years for stealing and everything else.
For stealing and fraud.
I don't want to hear his ass. Robert, I ain't trying to hear no Michael Avenatti jailhouse confessions.
Look, Roland, this is what we talk about when we talk about the auction nature of the criminal justice system. When you have money, when you have access, when you have political connections, you have a completely different experience in the criminal justice system than the normal person. We have to tamp back down on that if we want to actually have a functioning system. One of our founding fathers, John Jay, talks about the legitimacy of our system in the criminal justice system, in the courts. The courts do not have armies. They do not have enforcement mechanisms. Therefore, the people have to actually believe that the system is fair, or else the system collapses around itself. What we see is if you have unlimited money, you can file unlimited lawsuits and motions and delay, etc. along the lines. That is something that is not available to your average defendant. Judges in these cases have to put guardrails in place to ensure that no one can use money or political connections or anything else to face a different criminal justice system than your average everyday person. Because once you start establishing that as a rule and as a fact, then people have no reason to believe in the system as it is. And that's how you end up with failed states like we see across the world right now.
Absolutely. So it's nuts. So shall we get on Monday? All right, folks. We come back. Please. I'm like Michael Albanese. He can't get a fair trial in New York. Shut up. Go back to your jail cell. All right, we come back. Bruce Smith, former NFL player, Pro Football Hall of Famer, now is a part of a casino beat in Virginia. He says black folks should be participating economically in these areas, especially when they in majority black cities. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
Next on the Black Table with me, Greg Carr, a conversation with Professor Toyin Falola, a man described by many as an African intellectual legend. He is without a doubt the most important and prolific writer, thinker, teacher, and servant of African studies in the modern world.
And then today, we have George Floyd, the Black Lives Matters, and the re-emergence of radical black thought.
We're honored to welcome him to a very special, can't miss episode of The Black Table, only on the Black Star Network.
Fanbase is pioneering a new era of social media for the creator economy. This next generation social media app with over 600,000 users is raising $17 million, and now is your chance to invest. For details on how to invest, visit startengine.com/fanbase or scan the QR code. Another way we're giving you the freedom to be you without limits.
Bruce Smith, creator and executive producer of the Proud Family, Louder and Prouder, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
So Virginia has commissioned several cities to be able to build casinos in the state. Now, Urban won. They had 2 referendums. They lost those 2 in Richmond. Now you have an effort that's in Petersburg, Florida. And Bruce Smith, Pro Football Hall of Famer, says, you know what? Why are these casinos being built in black cities and black people not participating? Well, he has joined several others to bid on that casino. There are a number of people who are vying for that license. They are very lucrative licenses, and so Bruce Smith joins us right now. Bruce, glad to have you here. The reality is, since Don Barton died, there's not been a single African-American owner of a casino in the United States.
Well, and hi, Roland. It's good to be on your show, and thanks for having me. I hope that we're about to change that. There's too much at stake. There's too many people that have paved the way for this opportunity, and we cannot let it pass us by. It's not the fact that in the project in Richmond didn't have African-American participation. The majority of these folks were not from Virginia. And when we have these economic opportunities, groundbreaking economic opportunities and once-in-a-lifetime opportunities that come in our doorstep, and for Virginians not to have a major stake at these opportunities, I just think that it's an injustice. And we need to make sure that Virginians have a seat at the table because we live here. We spend our money here. We send our kids to school here. And we know how to strengthen our communities and what's needed in our communities and to help uplift our people, as opposed to folks from out of town coming in here and telling us what we think we need or what we should have, or the opportunities we should get, quite frankly.
And look, we've seen this before where licenses come up and people outside vie for those licenses. I look at Bally's in Chicago that vie for one in Illinois. So you have these, international casino companies. But your whole point is, hey, if you're a state and you're a city, you should really be looking to the people who are from there to participate in the economic viability of these projects.
It strengthens the fabric of our communities, our cities, and quite frankly, the state. We just had these opportunities come to light when legislation was passed to build 5 casinos in the state of Virginia. Just like with marijuana licensing. I'll give you the prime example of what I'm talking about. There's a casino in Portsmouth, which is a predominantly African-American city. There was out-of-town developer and vendor, well, not developer, but casino operator that came here, and there's only 5% African-American participation in a predominantly African-American city. That speaks volumes. So when this opportunity came along, because of my long history with the Cordish Company, one of the things that I emphasized that we had to have a significant stake in uplifting this community and having a seat at the table. And they agreed, and I think we're about to make history if we are chosen to be the developer of this resort, casino, entertainment development. We're going to employ over the life of the build-out 7,500 people. We're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars that will go to the state as well as the city in tax revenue, new tax revenue. So I just think this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the citizens of Petersburg. And it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for Virginians to have an opportunity to invest in this generational project that will create generational wealth and will also decrease the wealth gap in our state and in our cities.
Scott?
Hey, Bruce, Scott Bolton here. Bruce, if these are licenses that have been awarded, are they going to be voted on by a referendum, or are we beyond that? And I can see Urban One is a client of mine, but I did not represent them in regard to the Virginia licenses and stuff. But I know a little bit about it, just on the periphery. These five licenses, do they have to be voted on by referendum, or are they locked in and there's a commission that's going to award them based on an RFP?
Yes, this casino license will be voted on by referendum. So the process, I'll give you the short version. And the short version is the city sent out an RFP. There were 5 vendors that answered the RFP. We happen to be, in my opinion, the strongest team. The Cordish Company has over 100 years experience of development. I've got over 20. They have.
Yeah, I'm familiar with them.
Yes, they have. They do business all over the world. They are very strong. They built and they own casinos in a number of major cities. But the fact that, and let me get back to your referendum. So the person that will be selected, the group that will be selected, by the city council and the committee to move forward as being the vendor. First, they have to become a host city, which means it has to go through through the House and the Senate. They have to pass it. The governor signs the bill, and after the governor signs the bill, then it becomes law. There's a holdup right now. There is language in the bill that talks about that it has to go back. The governor took that language out, which was, and I'm losing my train of thought right here for a minute, but the governor took the language out. So now it's up to Don Scott to do the right thing. And doing the right thing will be doing the right thing for the citizens of Petersburg that has high rates of unemployment, poverty, food deserts, limited resources to fund schools. There's just so many problems that exist. And this will be the economic engine that this city needs to provide hope, entertainment, and give these folks a shot in the arm with good paying jobs and a prosperous future.
Yeah, but Bruce, I'll just share this with you. I don't think you have to worry about Black people in Virginia supporting this initiative, because they certainly want it. Your opposition is going to come from those who don't live in the community and those who have a view of the world that is not, that you and I don't share, given the melanin in our skin. That's the first thing. Yeah. And the second thing is local support. There was no issue with local support. You may have even more, but those prior efforts had good local support. It's that your opposition is well organized, financially backed, and they are forced to deal with. Do not underestimate them, because those referendums, those two referendums that were lost already, they made all the sense in the world for people that look just like us. So I'll leave it at that. Good luck, brother.
Yeah. Well, and the word I was trying to recall at the time, I probably had too many cushions while I was playing in the NFL.
I didn't say that. You said that.
but it's called the reenactment clause. The governor took it out, so the governor did his part. Now Don Scott has to do his part, and then it's not time to play politics with the people of Petersburg. These folks want to work. They want their city to be uplifted. This city has been forgotten about for decades and generations. Yep. And this can be the economic engine that puts them on the map and they spark for new growth within their city, new economic growth and opportunities for the people that actually live there. And I agree with you 100%, but we will be well armed as we go into this referendum and make sure that the people of Petersburg understands what's at stake and who's opposing what's about to take place.
Yep. Good luck.
You said that House Speaker Don Scott must do the right thing. Specify that. What do you mean by that?
Well, the bill just needs to be clean. It needs to be a clean bill so the city of Petersburg can do their business. This opportunity should not be delayed, not one single day longer. These folks in Petersburg desperately need this economic engine, this opportunity for this once-in-a-lifetime project to delay it any significant amount of time. It would put people in the same state that they've been in for a lifetime. They need this project in the worst way, and we want to do everything we can to make sure that we bring a project that brings massive number of jobs, create tax revenues, so they can repair their roads, so they can fund their schools, so they can have the tax revenue and the jobs that are created to sustain families, and they can feel proud about it.
All right, then. Bruce Smith, man, I appreciate it. Good luck in your efforts.
Roland, thanks so much for having me on, man, and appreciate all the work you do throughout all the communities all over this country, man. Much love and respect.
I appreciate it. Thanks a bunch. Thanks. All right, folks, going to break. We come back. Donald Trump says, I know why Jewish people and the blacks are voting Democrat, and I'm going to tell you why. Yep. We're going to show that racist next. You're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network.
On the next Get Wealthy, with me, Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, nurses are the backbone of the healthcare industry, and yet only 7% of them are Black. What's the reason for that low number? Well, a lack of opportunities and growth in their profession. Joining us on the next Get Wealthy is Needy Bartonelli. She's going to be sharing exactly what nurses need to do and what approach they need to take ownership of their success.
So the Black Nurse Collaborative really spawned from a place and a desire to create opportunities to uplift each other, those of us in the profession, to also look and reach back and create pipelines and opportunities for other nurses like us.
That's right here on Get Wealthy, only on Black Star Network.
Fanbase is pioneering a new era of social media for the creator economy. This next generation social media app with over 600,000 users is raising $17 million, and now is your chance to invest. For details on how to invest, visit startengine.com/fanbase or scan the QR code. Another way we're giving you the freedom to be you without limits.
I am Tommy Davidson. I play Oscar on Proud Family, Louder and Prouder.
Right now, I'm rolling with Roland Martin, unfiltered, uncut, unplugged, and undamn believable. You hear me?
Michaela Boyd was last seen at her Columbia, South Carolina home on March 8th. The 15-year-old is 5 feet tall, weighs 130 pounds, with black hair and brown eyes. Anyone with information about Michaela Boyd is urged to call the Columbia, South Carolina Police Department, 803-545-3500, 808-543-3500. All right, folks, Donald Trump says he knows why Jewish and black people are voting for Democrats. It's out of habit. Listen to this, fool.
They don't want to talk about that. They don't want to talk about the attack of October 7th on Israel because Biden is no fan of Israel. Any Jewish person that votes for Biden does not love Israel, and frankly, it should be spoken to. How a Jewish person can vote for Biden is, or a Democrat, because they are on the side 100% of the Palestinians, and he doesn't know how to get out of it. He's stuck. But he is, if you look at what he's done, he is totally on the side of the Palestinians. And frankly, it's incredible that historically Jewish people vote for Democrats. To me, I cannot, and I know you're Jewish, Wayne, and I know you vote for me, but I don't understand it, and you probably don't understand it either. If you take the 10 worst presidents in history, add them all up, they haven't done damage to our country like this lunatic has done. And that's not even including the weaponization of the DOJ against me, his political opponent, and all of the other things that are taking place. He has done more damage to this country than any other president, and multiply it times the 10 worst. There's never been anybody like him. It's horrible. And, you know, when you talk about the Jewish people, you can also say the black people. African Americans have been brutalized by this man. And by the way, if you look at his statements about them in the 1990s, he spoke horribly,
very racist
about black people, horribly about, And I mean, like at a level that very few people have heard.
Yeah, well, he's a racist. His best friend was Senator Byrd. You know,
I really think a lot of it's habit, Wayne. A lot of it's habit. I see you caught on to that when I said it initially in the program. A lot of it's habit.
That's all it is.
Jewish people by habit,
and it's changing.
They vote for the Democrat, and black people by habit vote for the Democrats.
Right.
But now the African American population we're at the highest level anyone's ever been at as a Republican. It still should be much higher because of what I've done with criminal justice reform, with funding the black colleges and universities, with all of the opportunity zones. Nobody's done more than I have. I say nobody's done more since Abraham Lincoln. I actually wanted to go beyond Abraham Lincoln, but some people thought that wasn't a good thing to do, so I left it at that.
That is the biggest lying fool you've ever seen. And see, this is what happens when you keep telling a lie, folks start believing it. Trump sat there and said, I've done more for the African-American people than any other president other than Lincoln. You a damn lie. Then he lied about HBCUs. Y'all notice Trump and his supporters can never give a number. They can never give a number, Scott, as to how much money they gave to HBCUs. Senator Tim Scott, Trump, they can never give a number. Then he talked about what I did for criminal justice reform. First of all, it's not what you did. The Democrats passed the bill in the House. Then when the bill got passed in the House, it was stripped in the Senate only because Senators Dick Durbin, Kamala Harris, Cory Booker said this ain't strong enough. So, and then he loves some opportunity zones. Scott, I have yet to find, and I've been looking, I've yet to find any data on these opportunity zones that shows how they benefited black folks and low-income people. Can't find it. Cannot find it. And I'm telling you, what Biden and the campaign has to do, they got to say, lie, lie, lie. Right. Don't give me that, well, you know, misstatements. No, you got to say lie, lie, lie. And then if they ever debate, which is up for question, then Biden's got to say, stop lying, still lying, you a lying, because that's what he is. He is a liar. And, Biden made some comments that I disagree with, obviously, in the 90s. But let's remind Donald Trump was sued out of the gate because him and his dad were keeping black people from renting the apartments in the 70s. And Wayne forgot how he wanted to actually have the death penalty for the Central Park 5, now the exonerated 5. Nah, you ain't getting off the hook like that, sucker.
Yeah, you know, the Biden campaign needs to run an ad about that. If they're spending multiple millions on black and brown voters to keep them in line, they need to do an ad that says just that. Donald Trump says A, lie, and then the reality, okay? He gave some money to the historical black colleges, but that's not offset by what Biden has done in regard to historical black colleges or better yet.
But Scott, hold up. It's not that he gave money in his budget. And my frat brother, Dr. Walter Kimbrough, who's been president of 2 HBCUs, has worked at several others. He said Trump zeroed. The program they keep touting was a program that only accounted about $90 million for HBCUs, okay? Let's just be clear, okay? And that's the program they keep saying was made permanent. But Trump kept zeroing that program out of his budget. And so they never want to talk about that. And so it ain't even a question when it comes to the giving. But he is a liar. And then to say, well, black people vote Democrat out of habit. No, actually, black people have been voting Democrat. Let's be real clear. Black people started voting Democrat with Kennedy in 1960. Before that, black people were voting for Republican because black people were voting for Republican based upon policies from Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation all the way through the 1800s and 1900s. But it was policy, not habit, policy.
That's right. That's right. And the other thing is, why would black people vote for Donald Trump or Republicans now? So if you want to talk about policy, what policy or initiatives does the GOP have that says, yes, we want black people, we want to empower you, and we want you to vote for us? Yeah, that's the question I always ask black Republicans and stuff. The Republicans are anti-gay, they're anti-DEI, they're anti-abortion. They're anti-gun control. They are anti-criminal justice reform, police reform, anti-voting rights. I mean, they're anti-pre-child care. So that's 8 policy considerations right there. Whether you intellectualize your vote or not will give you reasons as to why you vote Democrat as opposed to Republican. You got to give me some policy that says that black people ought to be here with me. And you just don't have that. I'll tell you something else, too. He lied about Biden, too, and this Hamas war. Now, I don't agree with Biden, and I think he ought to be doing more, but we're talking about humanitarianism. We're not talking about supporting Palestine or Hamas. We don't support Hamas. Nobody does. Or the Jewish people. He done more. Those are our bombs being dropped, right? Those are our financial and military support being dropped, and our concerns about humanitarianism are being ignored. So I don't know what he's talking about if you're Jewish and you vote Democratic because Democrats don't like the Jews. No, we support Israel, a two-party state solution. We also support the Palestinians' right to live. Instead of bulldozing Gaza, there's got to be a way to eliminate Hamas, who, by the way, isn't even in Gaza. The leadership is elsewhere in Qatar. But just bulldozing them through military, you're not going to outrun these images, Palestinians and children and hospitals and camps being bombed because there are 1 or 2 Hamas leaders there. There's got to be a better way. And you got to give these people a way out, and you got to give them food. Hell, they're over there bombing aid workers. They bombed and killed the hostages, right? And what about the hostages? We got to bring them home. Those are Americans. Some of those people are Americans too. But just bombing your way through to stay in office, Bibi Netanyahu, to not face criminal justice charges, to stay in office because you don't want a referendum or you don't want new elections, right? At the expense of 30,000 Palestinians, something's got to give. All Biden is saying is, listen, we support you, but there's got to be a better way to do that. How is that anti-Israel? It just simply isn't. So, I don't know why we give credence to anything he says, because he just lies all the time. You say it enough times, he believes it, and he but I don't believe it.
But the reality is you got people who believe the lies, and we have to say, no, here's the truth. And I'm telling you right now, okay, I don't care what any poll says. If you are black and if you are broke and white, if you broke and Latino, you got to be a fool voting for Donald Trump. That man don't give a damn about none of y'all. He ain't letting y'all walk through the lobby of any of his hotels. This man is an absolute ingrate. He is demonic. He is evil. He deserves absolutely no votes whatsoever.
And it manifests itself. He's told you who he is. Believe him, right? And we just won't. Since when did we oppose Biden because he's too old? All of a sudden we don't like his age. You don't like his energy. Really? Well, I like what he's doing with the economy for sure. I like what he's doing with climate change for sure. I like what he's done on the abortion issue. I like all that. And there's more than enough reason to vote for him for those reasons alone. I'll tell you one last thing, Roland. This abortion issue, I'm going to tell you, you can talk about the economy, you can talk about criminal justice reform, you can talk about all this. Let me tell you something. The value differential, if that's a word, the value differential in this election may be democracy and all those other things, but abortion, driving a wedge issue and leveraging that issue on abortion, where you have white women around this country telling their stories, because it's more than just abortion. It's life sciences, it's healthcare, it's the ability to have babies or to save your life if you've got a bad birth process, if you will. That's got to resonate with every woman in here. I don't like seeing women get abortions, but it's a woman's choice. The government ought not be in it. And 75% of Americans, wherever you poll, maybe 65%, say it ought to be a woman's choice. Even in red, poor, conservative states, those numbers are there. And so I think it's going to be a real wedge issue. If the Democrats don't put their foot in and drive a truck through that issue, then I don't think they're going to win. But abortion has got to be front and center.
I got some fool in our in our chat talking about Roland, stop lying. Point me the lie. Point out the lie. Show me how much money went to HBCUs under Trump compared to Biden-Harris. I'll wait. Donald Trump he accidentally went to a HBCU because they had this event that we were going to give him an award, Benedict College, that got ridiculed and slammed because it was really put on by some Republicans. This man is a fraud. All he cares about are the rich in this country, and for the life of me, I don't know what y'all folks with no college degree, only high school diplomas are thinking by saying you're going to vote for this man. He don't give a damn about nobody making $40,000 or less. Hell, he don't care if you're making $100,000 or less. He is unscrupulous. He is a fraud. He is a shameful individual, and he keeps lying. And I'm going to call out the lie when he says it. Lie, 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 lie. L-I-E, not L-Y-E. Lie. L-I-E. He's a liar. And again, I dare any of y'all watching, please bring to me the proof how opportunity zones have been effective. I'll wait. Let me go to a break. I'll be right back.
On the next A Balanced Life with me, Dr. Jackie. It's spring, hallelujah. But hold on, it's not all fun and games. With the sun and the warmth comes the need to clean, the clutter, mentally, physically, emotionally, socially. All of those things need to happen. Getting rid of the clutter and clearing the cobwebs in our head and in our home. That's next on A Balanced Life on Black Star Network.
Fanbase is pioneering a new era of social media for the creator economy. This next generation social media app with over 600,000 users is raising $17 million, and now is your chance to invest. For details on how to invest, visit startengine.com/fanbase or scan the QR code. Another way we're giving you the freedom to be you without limits.
With Sammy Roman. I'm Dr. Robin B., pharmacist and fitness coach, and you're watching Roland Martin Unfiltered.
Folks, Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass, former Congresswoman Karen Bass, she says she wants to see California Congresswoman Barbara Lee replace Marcia Fudge as Secretary of HUD. Fudge, of course, announced her decision to step down. She's a former Congresswoman from Ohio, and the White House has not indicated who Biden is going to name as his next HUD secretary. They're responsible for billions of dollars when it comes to housing, but Bass says she wants to see Lee. Remember, Lee ran for the United States Senate, and so she's not running for her congressional seat, and so her term will be up when the new Congress is sworn in July. So we'll actually see what happens there. Folks, I'm here in Augusta, Georgia, where the Augusta National Invitational, also known as the Masters, is taking place. I'm guest of Mercedes-Benz here. And I was at the course today. Today was a practice round. It was also the par 3 contest. And I ran into a couple of groups that Mercedes has invited out, and they've been invited the East Side Golf. We've had them on the show, in addition to the Morehouse Golf Team. Check it out. Hey, folks, Roland Martin here. We are at Augusta National, and I'm sitting here walking off the course. Then I ran to these guys, Morehouse Golf Team, East Side Golf, here enjoying the festivities, courtesy of Mercedes-Benz. Y'all good? Yes, sir. All right. So we'll have a little fun, and of course, it's been a great week. Certainly was glad to see them out there, and one of the things that they are doing with the Masters is reaching out, paying colleges, the HBCU that's here in Augusta, reaching out to other folks as well, providing an opportunity to experience one of golf's majors. And so I'm sure, Scott, that's music to your ears, being aren't you not only a Morehouse grad, aren't you on the board or something like that?
I chair the governance committee on the board of trustees, and I just want to know, did you play them young boys from Morehouse, and how'd your handicap go, up or down? Because I know you're in heaven.
I did not.
You are in
them
heaven at the Masters.
I did not play them. We, of course, we were there just watching the par 3 contest. But I ain't got no problem cracking my clubs out if necessary. And yes, my golf handicap is a 3.7, so it's pretty damn good.
How do you get a 3.7 handicap? Like, where are the other 0.3? What is that? Just an average? You know, usually you have a 3 handicap, you have a 10 handicap. I got a 20 handicap.
No.
3.7. How do you get that?
That's because that's what happens when you working alongside, or when you got bootleg friends of yours who don't actually turn in their scorecards. Who don't turn in their scorecards where they can actually showcase their handicap. And so when I put it, so I have a golf handicap index from the folks at USGA. So we got skills.
You've shown me that several times.
But I'll
show it to whoever.
But I'll be happy.
Whoever you ask.
I'll be happy. Hey, I'll be happy to bring your little behind out to the golf course and take some of your legal money. I mean, so
I'm going to invite you to my
private
country club, and I'll let you play. They only have so many blacks.
What's the name of your club?
I'll make you one of those. Huh?
What's the name of your club?
Lakewood Country Club in northern Bethesda, sir.
You belong Lakewood?
Have you played that?
Oh, okay.
Have you played that course?
Lakewood, okay. Hey, I think I played Lakewood, so listen. Okay. I will be happy.
I got some boys. I got a team
come there and take.
I want you to come out and play my team.
You can put your little team together. I ain't got no problem dusting off some short. I ain't got no problem dusting off some short.
They big hitters too. They big hitters. They ain't I put teams together to win golf tournaments. That's what I do. Because I can't play worth shit, so I put teams together.
You know what? That's probably the one thing you and I have agreed on the most. You can't play worth shit. So yeah,
I can't play worth.
And also, I did run to a couple. I did run to a couple of cappers on the golf course, and one guy was like, he said, "Oh, you got that red?" I said, "No, let me help you out. The colors of my show are my high school colors, Jack Yates High School, crimson and gold, and so that's why I have the shirt on. That's why I have this here. So I let them know. Let them know. So and again, us alphas, we can show y'all how to wear red. So that's how we do it. We've got dinner. Actually, I look much better in black and gold, old gold.
Oh, God.
Oh, I look great in red, but I look much better in black and old gold.
Your mama told you years ago that you were a fine black man, and you believed it. You believed it, right? That's the first problem. My mama said your mama told you.
My mama said it. My daddy said it. My grandparents said it. My aunts and uncles said it. And not one lie was told.
They all prejudiced. They prejudiced.
No, they also smart. I got to go. We got dinner in 20 minutes, and so I'm cutting the show short. That is it.
Enjoy.
Yes. So now you ain't got to complain about. Well, I've been a lot of other golf tournaments. There were a number of people. There were a number of folks. There were a number of folks who I ran into. There were a number of people who I ran into. There were a number of folks. You know what? Let me show this here. Let me go here and show this. I took Hold
here
on,
we
let me
go.
just do this
He gonna
here.
start showing.
No. I just remembered. I just remembered because I want to go ahead and do this. So there were a lot of people. First of all, let me tell you something. Everywhere we go, we run into fans of Roland Martin Unfiltered. There are people, they were on the golf course out there. I even ran into one white guy who said, I didn't get his name. He said, I'm a conservative. He said, but I appreciate your point of view, and I love your show. So I was like, I appreciate that. It was, but again, there were number of brothers and sisters out there. I do love when you see black folk because they give you a look like. And I was like, that's me. So I helped them out. But that was when after I finished going around, there was a young sister. It was so funny. She was taking me around. She goes to a high school. She goes to a high school here in Augusta. She plans on going to nursing, University of Alabama. And she didn't know who I was. But it's all good. And we were, I saw these two sisters who were working the tournament. They had pink hats on, and they had pink hats, and they had their green shirt on. And I said, I know y'all AKAs. I dropped by to see them. And of course, they were. And so it was good to see them. So just give me a second. I'm gonna go ahead and show this here. And then also, I got to give a shout out to a brother as well. He runs all content. We worked together at CNN, and I got an opportunity to see the whole content center. It's a massive complex. This brother, he runs all of it. He's from New Orleans. I had a good time chatting with him as well. So let me shout out Derek Moore. Derek Moore, he again runs all the content stuff. Fantastic brother. So I just want to give him a shout out. It was good seeing the folks. And again, I want people to, the reason I'm saying that, I want people to understand that look, our people are here. Our people are here. Our people are working the event. The people who are attending, who are working in corporate communications as well. And so I think it's always important to showcase folks who are doing. I also happen to, Carol, check your email and check your text. Let me know when y'all, I put it in the group me as well, so let me know when y'all have it. So I pulled up. Let me know y'all have it. So I was going around speaking to lots of different people, and understand I have not seen Ron Townsend. So Scott, you may not know him. He used to run Gannett Television. Ron Townsend in 1990 became the first African American member of Augusta National. And then remember when they had a lot of the criticism for lack of women here, Martha Burke and her group, they were protesting. And so then it was around that time when Condoleezza Rice became, it brought in one of the first female members of the club. Saw her on the course, had the opportunity to speak to her. We're going to pull the photos in a second. So here's the deal. So today was a practice round, the par 3 contest. It's the only day you can take photos. You cannot bring, they don't even allow cameras on the grounds. And if they catch you with a camera, not only will they take the camera, they will also literally take your credentials and ban you for life. So could not have any of that. But I did have the opportunity to take some pictures. To Derek Moore, again, who runs all of content for the Masters, a team of over 1,000. He gave me a tour of the whole facility. We worked together at CNN back in the day. It was great to see him. We're going to show his photo in a second. Let me know when y'all got it. And then I cannot remember this. Okay, check your text. It's also in Group Me. There also was, like I say, the sister who drove me around. She was giving me the tour of the whole joint. That was too funny as well. And so she said, you know what? She says, she said, my apologies. I don't know who you are. She said, but my mama and them probably do. I said, baby, you tell your mama and them who I said, when you tell your mama and them your mama and them who you drove around, they gonna tell you exactly who you drove around. But you know, one of the things that I do is I speak to everybody. I speak to all of, you know, everybody who worked there. You know, that's how you're supposed to do it. So it was you know, the brothers and sisters who worked the security, who working on the grounds, who working in concessions. I ran into this one sister. She was Sigma Gamma Rho. Scott, we were in the concessions area, and we're in the merchandise area because they do crazy business in merchandise. And so we took a picture, and I said, because she didn't have a camera, I said, listen, we're gonna email it to you. No. She said, I need you to autograph my hat. So, see, Scott, that's how I know you don't know. Scott, I know you don't know this feeling, Scott. I know you don't know what that's like. So let's go ahead and pull the photos up. Oh, you did? Oh, that's right. That's right. People keep telling. People keep telling you. Do you see? They said, yeah. And they tell you to your face, stop giving Roland a hard time. So yeah. So go ahead and pull the photo. Go ahead and pull the photos up, y'all. We played. So that's my man. That's my man. Moore. That's my man. Like I say, he runs the content deal. Great brother. So good to see him. Derek Moore. This is the young sister who would drive me around. If y'all know her, if her people know her, let her know I put her on TV because she didn't realize I had a show. And then what we got next? So that's a photo I shot. That was on one of the part threes. Condoleezza Rice. I got opportunity to speak to her as well. So and that's another photo of her. So. Look at my social media, folks. We're going to have some more content. And again, today was the only day I could take photos, so I had to get much as I can. So, you know what I should have took a picture of all the black people I ran into. But it was way too many. So the brothers and sisters are out here. So that's it. Scott, appreciate it. Robert had to go earlier. Appreciate him being on today's show as well. Folks, I'm going to be live from here tomorrow as well. And so, again, I can't shoot video. I can't shoot content. So today's the only way I can get it. But it was so great seeing the brothers at Eastside Golf. We featured them in our marketplace segment. And great to see the brothers on the Morehouse golf team as well. Folks, that's it. Y'all watching. You're watching YouTube. Hit the like button, y'all. We should easily be over 1,000 likes. Please support us in what we do. I also hope y'all understand that, you know, we appreciate Mercedes inviting us. I'm talking to them with love because, you know, we had a Mercedes Sprinter, got totaled. We were having it rebuilt. And so, you know, I'm talking to them about also being a sponsor partner of Roland Martin Unfiltered, the Black Star Network. But we appreciate the opportunity for us to be able to go places, cover these stories, because we get to interface with fans, people who support our show. There were people who said, man, I donate to your show as well. In fact, at dinner, there's a band performing, and one of the brothers took a picture. He said, I got to donate now. And I'm like, yes, you do. So that's what we do. And so we want y'all to support us as well, because, again, our goal is to cover the stuff other people are not covering and talk about the issues that matter. You know, we hate the fact that we have to show these videos when brothers have been shot and killed by police officers. But here's the whole deal. Other media is not covering that stuff. They're not covering it. And I'm going to tell you right now, these attorneys, they thank me because they say, Roland, if you're the only one covering this stuff, we have an outlet. We have be able to reach our people, to put pressure on elected officials and others when it comes to these cases. I've had family members stop me and tell me, thank you for covering the story. My loved one was shot and killed, and you were the only place we were able to tell our story. So that's why we do what we do. And so if this show doesn't exist, we don't have that outlet. So please, your support is critical. Join our Brain and Funk fan club. Send your check and money order to P.O. Box 57196, Washington, D.C., 20037-0196. Cash App is $RM Unfiltered. PayPal, R Martin Unfiltered. Venmo's RM Unfiltered. Zelle, Roland at RolandSMartin.com. Roland at RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Be sure to download the Black Star Network app, Apple phone, Android phone, Apple TV, Android TV, Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Xbox One, Samsung Smart TV. Folks, that's it for us. I'll see you guys tomorrow right here. Roland Martin Unfiltered on the Black Star Network. Holla! Folks, Black Star Network is here.
Oh, no! punch you.
I'm real revolutionary right now.
Support this man, Black Media. He makes sure that our stories are told.
Thank you for being the voice of Black America, Roland.
Stay black. I love y'all.
All momentum we have now, we have to keep this going.
The video looks phenomenal.
See, there's a difference between Black Star Network and Black-owned media and something like CNN.
You can't be Black-owned media and be scared.
It's time to be smart.
Bring your eyeballs home.
You dig?
Pull up a chair, take your seat. The Black Tape with me, Dr. Greg Carr, here on the Black Star Network. Every week, we'll take a deeper dive into the world we're living in. Join the conversation only on the Black Star Network.
Hi, I'm Dr. Jackie Hood Martin, and I have a question for you. Ever feel as if your life is teetering and the weight and pressure of the world is consistently on your shoulders? Well, let me tell you, living a balanced life isn't easy. Join me each Tuesday on Black Star Network for A Balanced Life with Dr. Jackie.
We're all impacted by the culture, whether we know it or not. From politics to music and entertainment, it's a huge part of our lives, and we're going to talk about it every day right here on The Culture with me, Faraji Muhammad, only on the Black Star Network.
I'm Deborah Owens, America's Wealth Coach, and my new show, Get Wealthy, focuses on the things that your financial advisor and bank isn't telling you, but you absolutely need to know. So watch Get Wealthy on the Black Star Network.